Hello, people of YouTube. So I've been a fan of Martin Scorsese's movies since I was 11 years old, when I first saw The Departed. It was my first Scorsese picture, and let me tell you, I was hooked from that day forward. I couldn't get enough of them. Cape Fear, Goodfellas, Shutter Island, Casino, Taxi Driver, Raging Bull, and these are just some of my personal favorites. The list keeps going. This man has been putting everything he has into the films he makes for over 35 years, giving us intelligent, funny, moving, poignant, and accessible movies for over 3 decades. If you ask me, his body of work is right up there with Hitchcock or Kubrick. No question. So as you may have guessed, I was rather excited for The Wolf of Wall Street. Not only is Scorsese one of my favorite directors, but, I mean, did you see the trailer for this movie?
The show goes on! They're gonna need to send in the National Guard to take me out, cause I ain't going nowhere! I am so pumped up!
For me, the choice to make this film essentially a dark comedy is what makes it stand out from his other movies. Stylistically, this film shares the most in common with Goodfellas and Casino. The writer even said that he used those movies as a sort of guideline when writing the script for Wolf of Wall Street.
One of the observations I made was that Jordan is so funny, talking about people, what they look like, how he goofed on people, and that wouldn't naturally make their way into conversation. I didn't want to lose that, so I broached the subject of voiceover, and Marty said, well, yeah, this is sort of, I said, it kind of feels like Goodfellas and Casino to me. Would it be okay if I wrote it in that style and tried that, and everybody was on board with that? So you just wanted to hear Jordan's voice.
While Martin Scorsese uses humor in a lot of his movies, I would never go so far as to call any of them dark comedies. But this movie is executed with a completely unapologetic attitude towards excess. You really see the world through the eyes of the main character. You experience his lows and his highs, so to speak. The director is simply showing you how this man sees himself and the world around him, and is trusting the audience to know that this is obviously no way to live. That being said, the movie is delivered in a way that makes it very easy to have fun with. I thought the cast were fantastic. Leonardo DiCaprio was in just about every scene, and he carried this movie very well. He always seemed in complete control of his character and his performance. Jonah Hill was great as his right-hand man. Needless to say, he provided a lot of the humor in this film, but his comedy never felt forced or contrived. It was always a part of his character. But all the actors did a great job. Margot Robbie has proven, yet again, that Australian actors are definitely the frontrunners in Hollywood when it comes to authentic accents. Seriously, has anybody else noticed this? On a technical level, this movie was everything you'd expect from a Scorsese production, with beautiful, fluid camera movement and immaculate framing. Also, a really great soundtrack that not only fit the film's tone, but actually helped to convey it. Now, this was by no means an effects movie, like Scorsese's last film, but I did notice him using CGI here and there to help tell his story. That's perfectly alright with me. That's the way CGI should be used. There was one shot, however, where it was pretty obvious that Leonardo DiCaprio was sitting in front of a green screen. A lot of people were complaining about this film's length, and with a runtime of 180 minutes, I can understand why. It's a long movie, but does that necessarily mean that it's too long?
When you came to cut it, you had a much longer cut than the final, I think, 2 hours 45. What happened? The film was delayed. It was going to be released earlier. There was a lot of debate.
It took longer to cut the shaping of the picture, that's all. There was so much footage. Our process was pushed back about 4 or 5 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, I'd say. But that's also the part, too, of absorbing the picture, thinking about the shape of it. It was naturally lengthier than it is now. So
how long was it?
I think it was over 4 hours or so. Yeah.
Would you have wanted to release it at that length?
No, not really. No. That's all just the first cut. There's a couple of lines of dialogue I would have liked to put back in, but with just the rhythm is just off just a bit. It affects the next scene and the next scene, and it was really quite an experience putting this together in the editing room.
There's a lot of stories about the fact that Scorsese wrestled to get it down to just under 3 hours. Frankly, it could have lost another half an hour. And what it could have lost is yet another of the endless scenes of partying and orgying and drug taking.
Now, I really respect Mark Kermode's opinion, and for those of you who feel that the movie is too long, I couldn't have chosen a more qualified face for your argument. And to a certain extent, I agree with him. The film is very long and could easily lose 20 minutes if it wanted to. But personally, the runtime didn't bother me in the slightest. I should probably also mention that my favorite Scorsese movie is Casino, a film that when it came out was criticized for, yep, you guessed it, being too long. And that film's length definitely doesn't bother me. Do I think The Wolf of Wall Street is indulgent? Honestly, yes. But I also think it's an intentional reflection of the central character's lifestyle. For me, frankly, if this is the way that this legendary filmmaker wants to tell his story, then that's the film I want to see. Hell, I want a copy of the 4-hour cut he was talking about. I would highly recommend this movie to you. No, it's not perfect, but it is one hell of a ride. And if you really love movies, then this is certainly not one to miss. I'm giving this one a 9 out of 10. So did you see The Wolf of Wall Street? And if so, I'd like to hear your thoughts on the film's runtime. Was it too long? Or was it just right? You know where to comment. And as always, YouTube, take it easy till next time.